Hello, my dear. You can feel it, can't you? That little tremor crawling beneath their skin. The air thickens whenever you walk in, not because of what you say, but because of what you don't. Their eyes dart, their shoulders tighten, and somewhere deep down, they all start whispering the same quiet prayer. Please don't make me the next example. That's when you know you've stepped past ordinary fear. You've become something else entirely, not a person, but a presence. The kind that rearranges a room before you even speak. The kind that makes them question whether the walls are still on their side. They thought chaos was loud, messy, uncontrollable. But you made it precise. You turned it into an instrument, every note deliberate, every move calculated to expose the weakness in their confidence. You never shouted, you never begged, you just moved, and the world adjusted its pulse to match yours. That's what unnerves them. You don't chase, you attract their panic, like it's magnetized to your calm. And now, everywhere you go, the same question follows like smoke from a slow-burning fuse. Who's next? You remember when they used to laugh, don't you? Back when they thought you were predictable. They mistook your patience for hesitation, your observation for fear. They couldn't see the gears turning beneath that stillness. You watched them mock what they couldn't measure, and quietly, you started making a list. Not of names, no, names are too small. You made a list of patterns, behaviors, weaknesses. You memorized every habit they used to hide from accountability. You learned their rhythms like songs that always end the same way, in regret. Now the playlist's looping, and they're dancing to their own downfall while pretending not to hear the beat. The first crack always comes from denial. That's the fun part. They'll tell themselves it's coincidence, the way opportunities slip away, the way conversations freeze when your name enters the room, the way their allies start keeping secrets. They'll call it paranoia, until it isn't. Until the evidence piles high enough that even the blind can see the shadow stretching over them. You won't have to lift a finger. They'll do the rest. Guilt and anxiety are the best accomplices you could ever ask for. You've noticed it, haven't you? The silence after you leave a place. The way people exhale like they've survived a test they didn't study for. You could almost feel sorry for them. But that's the thing, they designed this game. You just perfected it. You learned how to move through their hierarchy without permission, how to turn every insult into intel. They tried to make you the target, and somehow you became the threat. They built the rumor mill to destroy reputations, but you turned it into an amplifier. Now every whisper about you adds another layer to your legend. They're scared of you, but they're addicted to the mystery. It's not power you carry, it's consequence. They don't fear your hands, they fear your awareness. You've seen too much, heard too much, and worse, you understand too much. That's what keeps them pacing at night, wondering what you know that they don't. Every interaction becomes a minefield. Every word they speak feels rehearsed. They start checking over their shoulder, not because you're there, but because they know you could be. That's control, not through domination, but through perception. You've made their own imagination work against them. Funny thing about fear, once it starts, it never really stops. It just changes shape. First they fear exposure, then they fear comparison, then they fear you, not for what you've done, but for what you might decide to do next. They start making peace treaties with their conscience, apologizing to ghosts of their own lies. You didn't even have to demand justice. You became it. That's when chaos turns clean. That's when retribution wears a smile. Look around, see the way they shuffle their steps when you walk by. That's awareness disguised as politeness. They've read the room, and the room says your presence means audit time. You can see it in their body language, the forced laughter, the sudden phone checks, the shallow breaths. They're performing normalcy, hoping you buy it. But you don't. You see the pulse in their neck, the tremor in their fingers. You know the difference between composure and collapse. Once upon a time, you used to care about fairness. Now you understand balance. The scales were tilted too long, and when you finally corrected them, the ones who benefited from imbalance called you dangerous. Isn't that poetic? The same people who thrived on chaos now accuse you of causing it. They can't see the irony because their reflection's too fogged with guilt. So they hide, they regroup, they whisper. And still they can't shake the feeling that you're already 10 steps ahead, marking the next phase in quiet ink. Let them panic. Let them scramble for explanations. Chaos doesn't need to roar when it's orchestrated by someone who's mastered silence. You learned that control isn't about noise. It's about knowing exactly when to move. You've seen their plans before they even drafted them. You recognize the stench of fear dressed as strategy. You don't even need revenge anymore, just timing. Because when you finally decide to act, it won't look like retaliation. It'll look like truth revealing itself. Some of them still believe they can predict you. They think you're driven by anger, ego, or pride. But that's their mistake. They project their motives onto you, trying to box you into their logic. You don't play for emotion. You play for exposure. You want to see what breaks first, their loyalty, their lies, or their masks. You're not the villain they imagine. You're the test they've been avoiding. You've learned something priceless. When you stop needing validation, you become untouchable. Their threats, their opinions, their alliances, all lose weight. You've stripped the currency from their control. That's why they're desperate to discredit you. They can't manipulate what doesn't crave acceptance. You're operating from a higher voltage now, one that fries weak intentions on contact. They wanted a follower. They got a phenomenon. Notice how they copy you now. The same tone they mocked, the same confidence they dismissed. They rehearse it like a survival tactic. They imitate what they don't understand, hoping it'll protect them. But imitation doesn't grant immunity. It only exposes dependency. You don't chase trends. You cause tremors. You're not ahead of them. You're beyond them, moving through dimensions they still think are locked doors. There's a shift happening right now, whether they admit it or not. You can feel it in the glances exchanged across rooms, in the sudden kindness from people who used to compete with you. That's not respect. That's caution. They've realized this isn't the same story anymore. The plot twisted while they were busy gossiping. You rewrote the script without ever touching their stage. Now they're acting in a play they no longer direct. Here's the truth you've always known. People don't change because of advice. They change because of consequence. And you, my friend, became the embodiment of it. You stopped arguing, stopped explaining, and the world went quiet. Because nothing terrifies manipulators more than someone who's learned to weaponize composure. You didn't need to raise your voice. You just became the reminder that everything hidden eventually comes to light. So keep moving like this, steady, deliberate, unreadable. Let them invent their rumors. Each one only deepens your legend. They'll call you unpredictable, but what they really mean is uncontrollable. They'll call you dangerous, but what they really mean is aware. They'll call you ruthless, but what they really mean is effective. And while they drown in definitions, you'll stay busy rewriting reality. The real chaos isn't in what's happening outside. It's in their heads, the spiraling thoughts, the sleepless nights, the sudden suspicion that maybe you never needed revenge because you were the outcome all along. Every story they told about you becomes a confession. Every insult becomes an admission of fear. You've turned perception into punishment, effortlessly. And as you stand there, calm, detached, letting the weight of their paranoia settle into the floorboards, remember, they started this by underestimating you. They thought they could manage your fire without understanding its source. But you didn't come to burn everything down. You came to expose what's flammable. That's the difference between chaos and correction. You don't destroy to destroy. You destroy to reveal. Now they know. Every whisper, every glance, every fake smile carries one echoing question. Are they next? They can't tell who's safe anymore. They can't even tell what safe means. And that uncertainty, that's your masterpiece. You've replaced their comfort with clarity. You've made fear honest again, so keep your focus steady. The air is shifting again. The watchers are multiplying, the whispers getting frantic, the energy tightening. They can sense it, even if they don't understand it. Something's coming, something they can't control, can't manipulate, can't block. You feel it too, don't you? The pulse building beneath the surface. It's stronger than before, that quiet hum beneath the noise, that invisible rhythm guiding every decision they make. It's not coincidence, it's consequence, manifesting in real time. You've become the gravitational center of their tension, the invisible axis their fear spins around. They wake up already calculating what not to say, what not to post, what not to reveal, because every move feels like it could land them on your list. They don't know if your revenge will come in whispers or headlines, and that confusion is delicious. You've taught them that power isn't about who speaks the loudest. It's about who makes the room whisper. Every reaction is a confession now. Watch them stumble over themselves to prove loyalty they never had. Watch them rehearse sincerity like actors who forgot the script. You can read it in their body language, the half smile that doesn't reach their eyes, the sudden interest in your well-being, the awkward compliments that sound like peace offerings. They don't respect you. They revere you out of survival. They've seen what happens when people misread your silence. They've seen what happens when someone gets bold enough to test your threshold. The aftermath becomes the warning, and the warning travels faster than any rumor ever could. You were never chasing chaos. You were correcting it. They were the ones who thought their actions had no echo. You simply became the echo that learned how to bite back. That's why the air feels different now, thicker, charged, like the moment before a lightning strike that no one saw coming. Everyone senses something approaching but can't pinpoint its shape. They whisper your name, and it hangs in the air like static. They think saying it quietly will keep them safe. It won't, because the truth doesn't need volume to hit hard. You remember the old days, the betrayal, the mocking, the collective agreement to underestimate you. It's strange how memories like that sharpen into focus when victory arrives. You don't relive them for pain anymore. You revisit them for data. Every insult, every dismissal was a coordinate, mapping out exactly who needed to be reminded of consequence. You collected those moments the way an artist collects shades of color, not to decorate, but to paint something unforgettable. And now the painting's complete. Chaos isn't random anymore. It's your signature. Look closely. The hierarchy they built is fracturing. Leaders second-guessing their own orders. Followers doubting the foundation they swore by. Everyone scrambling to appear innocent while silently betraying each other to earn your favor. You didn't have to lift a weapon. You became the rumor of one. That's how psychological dominance works. You don't enforce fear. You suggest it, and the human mind does the rest. They've started monitoring each other more than you ever could. They've turned on themselves, trying to predict your next move. But you already made it, the moment they started thinking like prey. It's fascinating, isn't it? How power reverses itself when truth finally stands up. They called you unpredictable, but what they really meant was unprogrammed. You didn't fit their script, so they tried to write you out. The problem was, you learned how to write better. You mastered subtlety. You stopped broadcasting intentions, and the silence drove them insane. They started filling in blanks with fear, and that fear became prophecy. You let them talk, because every conversation about you was free marketing. They made you the villain, but villains have longer memory than heroes, and that's where their downfall began. Now they live inside the world they built for you. Every mirror they look into reflects the version of themselves they pretended not to be. They startle at shadows, jump at coincidences, decode harmless gestures like their secret threats. Their paranoia has rhythm now, and it moves to the tune of your calm. You don't need revenge anymore. You've become reflection. Every sleepless night they endure is repayment. Every fake smile they force is a confession. But make no mistake, you're not fueled by bitterness anymore. You've evolved past that. Bitterness limits. Awareness liberates. What you've done is art. Cold, methodical. Beautifully unfair to those who once called you expendable. You don't just react to betrayal. You redesign its consequences. You taught the world that some spirits can't be broken, only sharpened. And once sharpened, they cut through deception like it's paper. See, they thought chaos would destroy you. They didn't realize chaos was your environment. While they panicked, you adapted. While they plotted, you planned. And when they tried to bury you under noise, you became the frequency that could cut through it. You turned every setback into architecture. Every scar became a map. You stopped waiting for closure and started building outcomes. That's what separates survivors from strategists. One moves on, the other moves differently. They can't comprehend how you keep winning without moving loudly. They think success must announce itself. But you operate like a ghost, seen only through the reactions you provoke. You've become the quiet consequence of their arrogance. And now, as panic spreads through their circles, they realize too late that you never needed an army. You needed focus. You needed patience. You needed them to think you were gone. Because nothing triggers fear like the return of someone they swore would never rise again. You can feel their collective anxiety vibrating through the airwaves. Messages rewritten, posts deleted, stories changed. They're trying to erase history now, their own digital footprints betraying them. But history doesn't need evidence when presence is proof. You're still here, breathing, watching, calmly dismantling their narrative one truth at a time. That's why they can't rest, because your silence became accountability. There's a certain beauty in letting chaos expose itself. People reveal their loyalty not when things are stable, but when the room starts shaking. And right now, every friendship, every alliance they built on convenience is cracking under pressure. They're learning the difference between safety and illusion. You didn't have to push them. You just stopped protecting their comfort. The moment you stopped explaining yourself, the entire illusion collapsed. It's strange how power works. It never really leaves you. It just waits for recognition. They spent so long convincing others that you were dangerous, and now, even they believe it. That's the irony of manipulation. Repeat a lie long enough, and it becomes your reality. They can't undo the legend they created around your name. Every attempt to discredit you only feeds the narrative that you're untouchable. They've built your throne and don't even realize it. You see, chaos isn't your weapon, it's your witness. It follows you not because you summon it, but because truth always shakes false foundations. Every environment you enter starts to shift. People either align or collapse. There's no in-between. That's what they call eruption, not explosions, but awakenings. When people suddenly realize who's been holding the real leverage all along, you've learned to stop chasing explanations from those who live in denial. You let actions tell the story now. The right people understand without translation. The wrong ones unravel, trying to decode what was never meant for them. That's the real punishment. Watching them exhaust themselves, searching for meaning in a move that was simply natural. You don't react to chaos, you channel it. You turned it into strategy, rhythm, philosophy. That's why nothing sticks to you anymore. Guilt can't hold where intention is pure. Watch how the balance of power tilts. The same people who swore you'd never recover are now measuring their words in your presence. The same ones who laughed at your downfall now mirror your behavior just to survive. They say imitation is flattery, but here, it's insurance. You became the template for survival, and they know it. The new social order revolves around your restraint. That's what terrifies them most. Not your rage, but your discipline. Because rage is predictable, discipline is not. Now you've reached the point where your calm causes more destruction than their noise ever could. Every time you choose not to respond, another ego implodes. Every time you move without announcement, another plan collapses. They keep expecting confrontation, but you give them consequence. And the human mind isn't built for that kind of unpredictability. You've become their mental maze. Every turn leads back to the same realization. You can't stop what you can't understand. They'll tell themselves stories to cope. They'll say you got lucky, that you changed, that someone else helped you. They'll never admit the truth, that you evolved in the exact environment that was designed to break you. That's what makes survival poetic. You didn't just endure the chaos, you mastered its language. You learned to translate pain into precision, confusion into clarity. You became fluent in what they fear most, control without cruelty. But let's not pretend this transformation came without cost. You've lost illusions, comfort, softness, all traded for insight. You learned that empathy without boundaries is self-destruction, and now your compassion has edge. That's what makes you dangerous. Not heartlessness, but selective mercy. You choose who deserves your attention now. You choose who earns a second chance. That's ultimate power, not revenge, but discretion. As the days pass, the whispers get louder. They're not sure whether to run or reconcile. Some will reach out, pretending innocence, trying to rewrite their role in your story. Others will disappear entirely, hoping distance will grant forgiveness. Neither strategy works. You don't hold grudges, you hold memory. And memory has better aim than anger ever could. They wonder who's next on your list, but the real twist is, the list doesn't even exist anymore. You don't need it. The universe keeps score for you now. Energy balances itself out with or without your intervention. You've learned to let the current handle the cleanup while you stay focused on elevation. That's what separates you from them. They still react to noise. You respond to signals. Still, they can't help but obsess. They watch your every move like detectives in their own downfall, trying to predict the unpredictable. Every post, every word, every silence, analyzed like a clue. They think they're studying you, but really, they're documenting their fear. The real investigation isn't yours, it's theirs, trying to find out how they lost control so completely. And yet through all this tension, there's peace in you now. Because you understand what chaos truly is, not destruction, but revelation. It doesn't break things. It exposes what was never solid to begin with. You didn't cause their panic. You revealed their instability. You became the mirror that forced accountability, and mirrors don't apologize for reflections. So keep that posture, grounded, calm, aware. You've already proven your point without speaking. The world has adjusted around your frequency. Every move you make now ripples through rooms you've never entered, changes conversations you'll never hear. You don't need to warn anyone anymore. Your existence is warning enough. They thought chaos was the enemy. They never realized it was the audit. And guess who's leading it? You. The collector of energy, the distributor of truth, the silent architect of poetic justice. They can feel the air shifting again, can't they? The conversations slowing, the smiles fading, the tension tightening. They know something's about to happen. They just don't know what. But you do. Because while they're still guessing, you've already chosen the next move, didn't you? Quietly, precisely, without fanfare. Because real chaos doesn't announce itself. It unfolds, like a slow-motion collapse that no one notices until the floor is gone. And that's where they stand now, feet hovering over nothing, pretending the ground still exists. You watch from a distance, not out of cruelty, but calculation. They thought they could outrun the audit. They forgot you are the audit, the invisible examiner marking every deception with surgical precision. This is the phase where panic becomes ritual. You can feel it vibrating through their world. The uneasy laughter, the cautious glances, the desperate search for reassurance. They've started checking each other's expressions the way gamblers check cards. No one trusts anyone anymore, and that's the sweetest form of justice. You didn't have to punish them. You just introduced truth. And truth punished everything false by contact. Every empire has a heartbeat, and you've learned to listen for the arrhythmia, that stutter before collapse. Their networks are glitching, their alliances trembling, their confidence cracking. You stand there, composed, almost serene, because this isn't revenge anymore. It's revelation. You're not destroying them. You're exposing them to gravity. You're letting cause meet effect in its purest form. They still don't understand how you do it. They call it intimidation, mystique, luck. But it's none of that. It's awareness. You see the pressure points others overlook, the unspoken insecurities that power hides behind. You don't need to shout. You just notice, and noticing is enough. People crumble faster under observation than confrontation. That's the paradox of fear. It grows in silence. You've become the mirror no one wants to face. When they meet your gaze, they're not looking at you. They're looking at the consequences of their own actions. That's why they flinch. That's why conversations die mid-sentence when you enter the room. Your presence compresses the atmosphere. Not because you demand respect, but because you remind everyone of the one thing they can't escape. accountability. There's something poetic about it, isn't there? How chaos, once feared, has become your language of order. While others scramble to contain it, you conduct it like an orchestra, each tremor, each whisper, each rumor striking exactly when it should. You've mastered rhythm, timing, restraint. They thought chaos was random. You proved it could be deliberate. That's what separates you from them. They react to pressure. You compose with it. Now you can see the dominoes falling in slow motion. A message leaks here. A secret surfaces there. An alliance fractures quietly in the dark. They'll say it's coincidence. They'll insist you had nothing to do with it. But deep down, they know better. They know your fingerprint doesn't need to touch anything to leave a mark. You've made inevitability your accomplice. The universe itself seems to move with your intent, delivering irony with perfect precision. Some of them are still bargaining. They send polite messages, disguised apologies, subtle gestures of peace. But you know sincerity when you see it, and this isn't it. These are survival tactics, desperate attempts to rewrite history before the consequences finalize. You let them speak anyway because every word is evidence, proof of who they truly are when the facade dissolves. And oh, how quickly it dissolves. You can almost taste the shift in their tone, from arrogance to anxiety, from authority to appeal. They used to act like gods. Now they pray like mortals. They used to mock your silence. Now they imitate it. They used to underestimate your calm. Now they fear it. That's the beauty of evolution. You don't argue your worth. You demonstrate it through endurance. They still think chaos breaks people. You've shown it builds them, selectively, ruthlessly, beautifully. The whispers have multiplied, each one a fragment of confusion, spinning into the next until the entire room hums with uncertainty. They talk about lists, vengeance, secrets. They can't tell which are real and which are imagination, and that's exactly how you designed it. The greatest power isn't in punishing them. It's in letting them punish themselves with possibility. You've turned rumor into reflection. Now they project their own fears onto your silence, and it eats them alive. You walk differently now, not because of pride, but purpose. Your steps are measured, grounded, deliberate. People clear the path without realizing why. The same corridors that once echoed with their laughter now echo with hesitation. That's the sound of history correcting itself. You didn't need to prove dominance. You simply became consequence personified. But deep inside, you know this isn't about them anymore. The chaos around you isn't punishment. It's purification. The energy of exposure doesn't stop at revenge. It transforms. You've learned that truth, once released, never returns to silence. It keeps echoing, reshaping, cleansing. That's what you are now, the echo that won't fade. Still, there's one lesson you guard carefully. Chaos is loyal only to those who respect its balance. You never abuse it. You don't swing wildly or destroy indiscriminately. You move with precision, always leaving enough mystery for them to question their own guilt. You don't need to declare justice. You let it unfold organically. That's how legends form, not through violence, but through inevitability disguised as calm. They'll never admit it publicly, but they admire you now. Even those who resent you study you in secret. They watch your posture, your tone, your patterns. They take notes. They call it analysis, but it's confession. They want to understand how you survived the very fire that consumed them. They want to decode resilience like it's an algorithm. But resilience isn't a code, it's a choice, repeated daily, until it becomes identity, and yours has become untouchable. The city feels different now. Streets you used to walk unnoticed now hum with recognition. People pause mid-conversation when your name surfaces. The same environment that once rejected you now adjusts itself around your presence. That's the true definition of power, not control over people, but influence over atmosphere. You bend perception just by existing. They keep wondering who's next, but that's the wrong question. The list was never about names. It was about patterns. It was about cleansing the energy that dared to mistake kindness for weakness. It was about teaching the lesson every betrayer eventually learns, that deception carries compound interest. And now, the debt collectors have arrived, wearing your face. Look closely. You can see the dominoes mid-fall, each one tracing a perfect path toward exposure. No shouting, no spectacle, just sequence. Chaos with discipline, the rarest art form of all. And while they scramble to find explanations, you stay motionless, letting consequence do the talking. Because when you've mastered energy, retaliation looks redundant. You can sense the tension reaching its peak. Rooms growing quieter, timelines glitching with sudden realizations, eyes darting away when yours lock on to them. Everyone's wondering what happens next. The truth is simple. Nothing happens. It's already happening. Every decision they made against you is now looping back with compound velocity. You're not enacting punishment. You're witnessing physics. There's a moment right before fear becomes surrender, when people finally tell the truth. You'll see it soon. In the apologies that sound like essays, in the sudden transparency from those who once thrived on secrecy. It won't be redemption, it'll be relief. They're not confessing because they've changed. They're confessing because they've lost the energy to pretend. And you'll listen, not out of sympathy, but curiosity. You've always been fascinated by the psychology of collapse. You don't hate them anymore. You've outgrown hate. Hate still binds you to what hurt you. You prefer distance, surgical, clean, final. That's why you no longer announce your exits. You just fade, and their worlds fold inward from the absence. You've learned that disappearance is louder than confrontation. You can feel it in the silence that follows you, not emptiness, but echo. They try to fill it with noise, but noise doesn't erase gravity. So you stay still, watching the world rearrange itself. The watchers keep watching, but even their gaze starts to falter. They realize observation doesn't grant control, it only deepens awareness. And that's your quiet victory. They studied you, and in the process, became students of their own flaws. You never needed vengeance, you just needed time. The rumor mill keeps spinning, fueled by uncertainty. Some say you've forgiven everyone, others say you're preparing a grand finale. Both are wrong. Forgiveness isn't necessary, and finales are for those who need closure. You've moved past both. You're not seeking to end anything. You're sustaining transformation, an endless audit, a cycle of self-correction that keeps the entire environment honest. That's what terrifies them most, the permanence. The idea that this new order isn't temporary, that your rise wasn't a phase, but a foundation. They can't revert to the old dynamics because they don't exist anymore. Every interaction now carries your fingerprint. Every alliance is measured against your standard. Even absence feels like authority when it belongs to someone who's earned it. They'll still try, of course. The desperate always do. They'll attempt small revivals of control, half-hearted comebacks, subtle campaigns to rewrite perception. But the audience has changed. People have seen too much. Once awareness spreads, it never contracts. That's your true power, not fear, but awakening. You didn't manipulate perception, you evolved it. And that's why chaos feels holy in your hands. You use it not to destroy, but to cleanse. You wield it like a scalpel, not a hammer. Every action deliberate, every outcome poetic. You've become the equilibrium they never believed existed, the calm within the quake, the intelligence inside the fire. They called you dangerous. They were right. But not because you harm, because you reveal. Now the air hums differently. You can feel the final phase unfolding, not an ending, but a quiet settling. The watchers are exhausted. The talkers have lost their script. The manipulators are out of moves. All that remains is truth, standing naked in the aftermath. And you, unbothered, unscarred, standing beside it like its chosen witness. That's the image that will linger, not chaos unleashed, but chaos refined. They'll remember the way you moved through destruction like a surgeon through open flesh, precise, focused, unshaken. They'll tell stories about the audit, about how everything shifted when you stopped participating in their illusion. Some will call it karma. Others will call it luck. But you'll know better. You'll know it was simply alignment. Because in the end, the list they feared never existed in ink. It existed in energy. Every dishonest act, every betrayal, every manipulation wrote their own names into it. You were just the reminder that energy always returns home. And now that it has, you don't need to chase, expose, or explain. You just let balance breathe. The city will calm eventually. The whispers will fade into folklore. But the legend of what happened here, of how one person turned chaos into clarity, will outlive them all. They'll say it started with vengeance, but it ended with vision. They'll say you scared people, but what you really did was wake them. And as you walk away from the noise, you'll feel that pulse again, softer now, steady, aligned. The world around you no longer resists, it adjusts. You've rewritten what power feels like. It's no longer domination, it's awareness moving with purpose. So let them keep wondering who's next. Let them keep watching shadows and second-guessing motives. Because the truth is, they're all on the list, not because you marked them, but because they wrote themselves in the moment they chose deception over decency. You don't need to cross names anymore. You just exist, and existence itself becomes judgment. The chaos isn't erupting anymore. It's evolving into order that wears your face. And when the world finally settles, they'll realize you were never the threat. You were the audit, the reckoning, the necessary recalibration. You didn't bring destruction, you brought truth. And that was always the most dangerous weapon of all. Huh. Fools. They never thought you'd make it out alive. They built the story with your collapse as the ending. Every whisper, every setup, every smiling face hiding a blade, every move was calculated to make sure you'd disappear before the credits rolled. But here you are, breathing, glowing, walking proof that the impossible doesn't die. It adapts. You weren't supposed to be here. Your survival rewrote the entire script. That's why they're panicking now. Because your existence exposes their conspiracy. They didn't just fail, they failed publicly. And your heartbeat is the evidence. You weren't meant to rise because your rise exposes everything they wanted buried. They thought your pain would paralyze you. They thought your heartbreak would hollow you out. They thought betrayal would make you beg for help. But they forgot something. They were dealing with someone born from fire. Someone who bleeds persistence and inhales chaos like oxygen. They didn't understand that breaking you was never an option. It was a ritual, a test, and you passed it without even knowing it. That's what drives them mad now. You're walking around with the calm of someone who survived coordinated destruction, and they can't process it. Picture it. Entire groups of people who can't even agree on what they want for dinner, suddenly finding unity in one thing, your downfall. Co-workers who couldn't stand each other suddenly sharing secrets about you. Family who smiled at you on Sunday, whispering curses by Tuesday. Former lovers pretending to check in, when in truth they're carrying messages from the enemy camp. They created a coalition of envy, a spiritual cartel of jealousy, and even with all that collective effort, they still couldn't finish you. They spent nights plotting, days pretending, all to watch you stand taller than ever. You weren't just their target, you were their obsession. They studied your weaknesses like scientists. They rewound your old mistakes like footage in a lab. They even rehearsed your reactions, trying to predict your next move. But you didn't move logically. You moved divinely. Every time they thought they cornered you, destiny shifted the walls. Every time they launched a trap, the timing flipped in your favor. You weren't surviving by luck. You were surviving by alignment. And that's what terrifies them. They can't explain how you keep dodging what should have destroyed you. At first they thought it was coincidence. Then it became pattern. Then it became fear. Because one by one they started realizing that every weapon formed against you backfired. Every whisper turned into exposure. Every curse looped back as consequence. Their own alliances began cracking under the weight of karma. That's when they knew this wasn't normal. This was supernatural. You see, they didn't just attack your reputation. They tried to break your energy. They wanted your mind fractured, your confidence drained, your spirit offline. They wanted you exhausted, confused, questioning your worth. That's why they used isolation. It's the oldest trick in psychological warfare. They wanted you surrounded by silence, so their lies could echo louder. But they underestimated what happens when a chosen one gets alone. You don't go crazy, you go deeper. You start hearing the frequency they tried to drown out. You start remembering who you were before manipulation rewired your faith. That's when your energy changed. That's when the air around you began to shift. They could feel it, even before they saw it. The same people who mocked your breakdowns now stare at your breakthroughs like they're witnessing sorcery. You're not supposed to glow like that after being buried alive. You're not supposed to speak that clearly after being gaslit for years. You're not supposed to love again after being betrayed that brutally. But you did. And that's why they whisper now. Because you're not supposed to exist at this level. They called you crazy, delusional, unstable. They needed labels to make their guilt make sense. But your healing became their haunting. Every time you breathe in peace, it feels like thunder in their chest. Every time you post, succeed, smile, it burns through the illusion they built around you. They thought you'd stay small enough to control, quiet enough to erase. Instead, you became a walking confession of their failure. Understand this, their unity was never about power. It was about fear. They sensed your potential long before you did. Your very energy reminded them of everything they buried in themselves. Truth, integrity, courage, light. They weren't trying to destroy you. They were trying to destroy the reflection you forced them to see. Because when you stand in your full strength, their weakness becomes visible. And humans will do anything to avoid seeing what they've suppressed, even destroy the mirror. That's why they joined forces. That's why enemies became allies. That's why people who never met suddenly shared the same script. You became the project, the experiment, the obsession. They wanted to test how much light one person could withstand before breaking. They wanted to prove that purity is fragile, that goodness doesn't survive cruelty. But the outcome betrayed them. Because the more they attacked, the more you evolved. You didn't just resist their darkness, you converted it into discipline. You didn't just survive their betrayal, you refined your discernment. Every setup became training. Every heartbreak became armor. Look closely, and you'll see it now. They're glitching. Their guilt is leaking through their performances. They speak softer when your name comes up. They shift in their seats when your success plays on their screen. They tell others they've moved on. But their eyes betray the obsession. They're still watching, still calculating, still wondering how you're breathing in the ruins they designed. And the truth is, you're not just breathing, you're building. They thought taking your circle would break your strength. But solitude became your laboratory. You learned how to operate without validation, how to thrive without applause. You turned loneliness into strategy. And now that you've learned to walk without crutches, they realize they were never needed. They were weight. Your detachment is what frightens them most now. You no longer need them, their approval, their recognition. They lost psychological control, and that's something they'll never forgive. You were supposed to self-destruct. Instead, you reconstructed. You were supposed to fade quietly. Instead, you became loud in your stillness. You were supposed to disappear. Instead, your energy multiplied. They can't understand it because their logic is linear. But your journey was quantum. They don't get how pain turned to power, how betrayal turned to blueprint, how isolation became initiation. They don't get that divinely chosen souls are built from paradox. They break patterns by breaking expectations. And now the same people who laughed at your breakdowns are trying to imitate your healing. They steal your phrases, your style, your essence, hoping some of that strength rubs off. But power can't be plagiarized. Your energy can't be duplicated because it's not performance, it's precision. You didn't rehearse this, you earned this. You lived through what they could never imagine and came back coherent, calm, commanding. You carry the kind of vibration that makes liars choke on their own words. That's not charisma, that's consequence. Remember how they used to look at you? Pity, mockery, superiority. Now they look with curiosity, fear, awe. Because the energy shifted. You went from target to template, from scapegoat to standard, from outcast to oracle. And that evolution happened right under their watchful eyes. They tried to humiliate you publicly. Now your very existence humiliates them spiritually. You were their experiment gone wrong, their failure they can't explain. And it's poetic justice, isn't it? The same mouths that once spread your downfall now repeat your quotes. The same people who warned others to stay away now study your mindset like scripture. The same ones who said you were finished now imitate your discipline, your calm, your voice. They don't understand that every attempt to destroy you only upgraded your design. They threw chaos, you learned structure. They spread lies, you built truth. They blocked paths, you created your own. They didn't just underestimate you, they underestimated divine timing. Because the universe doesn't waste warriors. When you survived what they thought would kill you, cosmic balance shifted. Your pain became permission for the next phase. Every wound turned into access. You became fluent in energy. You learned to sense deception before it spoke, to feel danger before it appeared. That's not paranoia. That's awareness earned through suffering. You're not fearful. You're fluent in human nature now. That's what scares them most. You see through everything. Their charm, their manipulation, their pity. Plays, it doesn't work anymore. Your intuition evolved into a weapon sharper than any knife they once hid behind their smiles. You read tone like scripture, body language like prophecy. They can't infiltrate you anymore because you're not reactive, you're responsive. You don't fight with emotion now, you fight with awareness. And awareness always wins. This is why your survival rattled their entire ecosystem. You've proven that coordinated betrayal can't override divine coding. You've shown that unity built on envy collapses under truth. You've become the variable they can't calculate. And now, their obsession has turned into exhaustion. Some are still pretending to hate you, but secretly they admire you. Others act indifferent, but they're studying your every move. Even the ones who once led the attacks now whisper your name, like it's both curse and prayer. But don't be fooled. Some of them will return. They'll disguise their motives as apologies, their regret as healing. They'll say they've changed, that they've learned. But watch their patterns, not their words. Because people don't transform overnight. They reveal themselves slowly under pressure. Your job now isn't revenge, it's remembrance. Remember who stood against you. Remember who doubted you. Remember who tried to weaponize your pain. And remember that forgiveness doesn't require access. You're no longer in their league. You're not fighting on the same field. They're still stuck in gossip. You're moving in legacy. They're still playing human chess. You're building empires. That's why you can't go back. You can't dim down to make them comfortable again. You can't explain miracles to people addicted to manipulation. They don't deserve the blueprint you bled for. So stand tall. Own what they tried to erase. Let them watch you thrive through the very energy they once cursed. Every success of yours is a sermon to their failure. Every move you make in peace is a reminder that divine protection is louder than public perception. You're not here by accident, you're here by assignment. And just when they think you've reached your peak, they'll realize something even darker. You're not done evolving. You're not done revealing. You've only been warming up. Because your survival wasn't the victory, it was the warning. The signal that the impossible doesn't stay buried. That the chosen don't just rise, they return transformed. So keep your focus steady. The air is shifting again. The watchers are multiplying, the whispers getting frantic, the energy tightening. They can sense it, even if they don't understand it. Something's coming, something they can't control, can't manipulate, can't block. You feel it too, don't you? The pulse building beneath the surface. Because this wasn't the end of their plan. It was just the beginning of your power. And what happens next, what's about to unfold, will make everything they've done look like practice. The air trembles now. You can feel the frequency shift like a countdown hidden under your ribs. The watchers sense it too. The tremor of something awakening that no calculation can predict. They're panicking behind their smiles because your calm is louder than their schemes. Every step you take without fear dismantles months of their coordination. They're realizing too late that the plan they worshipped is already dissolving in real time. Because what's coming next isn't revenge, it's revelation. and revelation changes everything. They spent so long rehearsing your downfall that they forgot to prepare for your rebirth. The scripts they wrote don't fit anymore. The stories they told collapse under the weight of your new reality. You're not the same person they plotted against. You're rebuilt, recalibrated, rewritten by the universe itself. They thought breaking you would erase you, but all it did was refine your purpose. You've become a living contradiction, someone they can't destroy and can't define. That's the kind of threat that terrifies control freaks. Now the whispers sound different. They don't talk with certainty anymore. They talk with tremors. Their voices crack because they know the energy is reversing. The same mouth that cursed you is tasting consequence. The same hand that sabotaged you shakes when it reaches for peace. They're haunted by what they can't undo. Because your survival didn't just protect you, it sentenced them. Every action has a return address, and your spirit was the mirror they mailed their hatred to. Now the reflection is arriving, and you walk through it untouched. You've learned how to see darkness without absorbing it. That's supernatural power, control over perception. You no longer flinch at gossip, no longer panic at betrayal. You move like water around obstacles, like fire through barriers. They don't understand how someone so wounded moves with such precision. But pain trained you in ways comfort never could. Every breakdown rewired your instincts. Every lie sharpened your discernment. What they meant for disorientation became your education. Let's expose the truth they keep avoiding. This wasn't chaos. It was choreography. Every person who betrayed you was a pawn placed to activate a part of your power. The fake friends were teachers of boundaries. The jealous co-workers were catalysts for excellence. The family traitors were mirrors of your unhealed lineage. Every sting was a signal. Every attack was an initiation. You were never being destroyed. You were being drafted into mastery. That's why nothing they did could end you. You were being constructed inside the collapse. Look at them now. The same ones who mocked your prayers are now lighting candles, hoping for mercy. The same ones who mocked your energy work are Googling protection rituals at 3 a.m. They laughed when you spoke about intuition. Now they pay for readings just to understand why karma feels like quicksand. That's poetic justice in motion. You didn't lift a finger. You didn't need to. The universe simply synchronized the consequences. You became untouchable because you surrendered control. You let truth handle what ego once wanted to fight. But make no mistake, your rise is not random. It's surgical. Every opportunity finding you now was coded long before their sabotage began. They thought they were closing doors, but each betrayal opened the one you were meant to walk through. Every delay recalibrated your timeline to precision, and now, as you ascend, their illusion of power crumbles. They thought they had influence. They didn't realize they were only proving your invincibility, because the harder they pressed, the brighter you burned. You're not lucky, you're aligned. Luck fades, alignment multiplies. That's why they can't replicate your outcomes. They copy your style, your tone, your language, but the energy doesn't translate. They post like you, dress like you, even quote your words, but something's missing, authentic resonance. You can't fake frequency. You either earned it or you didn't. And they didn't. They watched the transformation, but skipped the suffering. They want the crown without the crucible. That's why they'll always fall short. Now they're trying a new tactic, pretending to root for you. Fake support disguised as maturity. I always knew they'd make it, they say, hoping proximity might rewrite history. But energy never lies. Their applause vibrates like envy in disguise. You can feel it. That's why you keep your distance. Because you've learned that not everyone who claps is a friend. Some just want a front row seat to study your light. And this time, you're not sharing the stage. Your boundaries have become holy ground. You guard your energy like sacred fire, and that discipline is driving them insane. They can't feed on you anymore. They can't provoke you into reactions that lower your vibration. They can't access the version of you that used to explain, defend, justify. That version died in the war they started. The new you speaks only in results. The new you glows without warning. The new you forgives, but never reopens doors. That's the real miracle. Peace after persecution. You're noticing patterns faster now. You can feel deceit like static before words are spoken. You see right through the rehearsed empathy, the strategic vulnerability, the sudden nostalgia. They're testing the perimeter, looking for cracks in your confidence. But your field is sealed. Every lesson reinforced it. You no longer chase understanding from people committed to confusion. You no longer translate truth for ears allergic to accountability. You simply move, quietly, powerfully, inevitably. And that movement terrifies them more than any confrontation ever could. The gossip doesn't sting anymore. It's just background noise. You've outgrown the frequency of victimhood. They can no longer bait you into defending what's self-evident. You are proof. You are evidence. Your peace is testimony. That's what kills their narrative. It's impossible to debate outcomes that radiate. And no matter how much they try to rewrite the past, the universe keeps projecting receipts. Every win of yours is time-stamped divine. So when they gossip now, it isn't power, it's panic. Every rumor is a desperate attempt to rewrite what the world can already see. You're thriving without their permission. You're smiling without their validation. You're walking through doors they swore were locked, and that realization is splitting their ego down the middle. They tried to bury you in lies, but all they did was dig a trench between you and their energy. You exist on a different frequency now, where noise can't follow, where shadows lose traction. The shock still hasn't worn off for them. They scroll through your progress pretending indifference, but the jaw tension gives them away. They're searching for cracks, for signs of struggle, because they can't comprehend that peace could be this consistent. They can't compute that confidence can exist without arrogance, that clarity can exist without cruelty. You've mastered what they mocked, the quiet discipline of self-control, and that's the rarest power of all. Understand this clearly. They never hated your flaws. They hated your potential. Your resilience reminded them how small their excuses were. Every time you rebuilt, it exposed how long they'd been standing still. They didn't attack you because you were weak. They attacked because you represented growth. And growth exposes stagnation. That's why they tried to box you in. If they could define you, they could dismiss you. But now that you've expanded beyond labels, they're left talking to ghosts. The universe gave you something they can't fake, momentum. You move like time itself, unstoppable, uninterested in validation. You no longer seek closure. You create it with every boundary you hold. You no longer beg for understanding. You communicate through transformation. That's what supernatural power really is. Not levitating or performing miracles, but bending energy through integrity. When you stay true under pressure, reality bends to serve you. That's why opportunities appear out of nowhere. That's why resources meet you halfway. That's why protection follows you, like shadow follows light. They can't replicate that. They can study your methods, mimic your tone, steal your words, but they'll never reproduce your outcomes. Because your power wasn't built from ambition, it was built from endurance. You earned this frequency by surviving what would have erased them. You faced betrayal and chose evolution. You faced abandonment and chose alignment. You faced humiliation and chose humility. You transmuted poison into prophecy. That's alchemy of the soul. And now, karma is poetic. The same energy they weaponized against you is dismantling their illusions. Their alliances are fracturing. Their peace is malfunctioning. They're learning the hard way that when you target someone divinely assigned, the blowback isn't punishment, it's proportion. They threw darkness. It returned multiplied. They sent confusion. Now they can't think straight. They wished loss upon you. Now everything they touch slips away. That's not revenge, that's resonance. You, on the other hand, rise smoother every day. You don't chase, you attract. You don't force, you flow. You don't explain, you embody. Your life itself has become the sermon, and everyone who once doubted you is forced to sit through the lesson. That's divine efficiency, no arguments, just outcomes. And they can't look away because the glow hurts. It burns through their denial. It forces reflection they've avoided for years. This is the point where your purpose starts demanding precision. No more half-hearted alliances. No more explaining energy to those who drain it. The mission is bigger now. You're being positioned for visibility that requires spiritual discipline. The spotlight they tried to weaponize against you will soon illuminate them instead. Every secret move they made in shadows will find daylight. And you won't need to expose anyone. The universe handles public relations for the protected. But here's the twist. The universe won't just vindicate you. It'll elevate you through the same stage they used to ridicule you. Their platform becomes your pulpit. Their gossip becomes your marketing. Their sabotage becomes your testimony. That's the genius of divine strategy. It wastes nothing. Even their hatred had a function, to sharpen your awareness. Now the energy is shifting again. You can feel it, opportunities aligning, connections returning, abundance breathing at the edges of your reality. This is the expansion phase. Everything you lost was space being cleared. Every delay was direction being refined. You're about to step into territory that requires the exact scars you carry. Nothing was wasted, not a tear, not a betrayal, not a single night spent questioning your worth. It all encoded wisdom. It all trained your perception. And while they still whisper your name with resentment, the world will start speaking it with reverence. Your authenticity will cut through algorithms, through noise, through narratives. Because truth always finds frequency match. The right souls are tuning in now. The protectors, the collaborators, the ones coded for the same mission. They'll recognize you instantly, not by words, but by vibration. And when that alignment locks, everything accelerates. So stay steady. Don't flinch when the energy spikes again. The last tremor before breakthrough always feels like chaos. You're not losing control, you're gaining altitude. Those who tried to clip your wings are about to witness liftoff. They'll call it luck, coincidence, divine favoritism, anything but accountability. But you'll know. You'll remember the nights you held faith with trembling hands. You'll remember the silence that turned into strategy, the heartbreak that turned into higher vision. That's the real miracle, your refusal to die where they left you. Keep walking. The path ahead hums with destiny. Their eyes will follow. Their words will twist, but none of it matters, because the next phase isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving the universe right. You were never meant to just survive them. You were meant to transcend them. And as the energy builds again, as the watchers scramble to make sense of what's unfolding, remember this truth. Your survival was the trailer. What's coming next is the full feature. The world hasn't seen your true magnitude yet. The power they feared was only the preview. The countdown has already started. The frequencies are aligning. The stage they built for your downfall is turning into your coronation floor. Every light that once exposed you will soon illuminate you. Every voice that mocked you will echo your name in awe. Brace yourself. The shift you feel isn't tension, it's takeoff. The very forces that tried to bury you are now beneath you, watching the altitude rise. What happens next will silence every skeptic, every plotter, every shadow that underestimated your range. Because this isn't survival anymore. This is ascension. And the moment it begins is the moment they realize the real destruction wasn't yours. It was theirs. You didn't just walk out of the fire. You came back carrying the blueprint for immortality. Every scar turned into code. Every heartbreak became data. Every betrayal became instruction. You learned what no book could teach. That resilience isn't noise, it's a language. And you're fluent now. The world can feel it before you speak. That's why rooms shift when you enter. Why energy rearranges itself to accommodate your presence. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. They're still in disbelief, still whispering, still trying to trace the source of your endurance. They can't comprehend that you weren't rescued. You rebuilt yourself brick by brick in the dark. You were your own savior, your own resurrection, your own prophecy fulfilled. They wanted you to crumble so they could feel tall again. Instead, you became proof that divine design can't be derailed by human intention. They're studying you now, like scientists around a phenomenon they can't categorize. How did they survive that? They ask. How did they rise from that? The answer terrifies them. It wasn't strategy. It was spirit. Something beyond comprehension moved through you. Something they'll never replicate because it wasn't man-made. It was coded in your soul before you even arrived here. The irony? They're praying now, not to win, but to be forgiven. Because deep down, they know what they touched. You can't conspire against a chosen one without consequence. You can't plot against light and expect to live in peace. Every lie they told, every smear they spread, every smile they faked, it's circling back. They wake up heavy now, haunted by invisible weight. Their plans echo like static. That's the sound of universal justice working overtime. You didn't need revenge. You became karma in human form. Look at the path you've walked. Exile, betrayal, confusion, awakening, ascension. Each stage was a crucible designed to burn off illusion. That's why you're dangerous now. Not because you seek destruction, but because you carry understanding. They can't manipulate what you've already mastered. You see patterns before they form. You hear intention beneath words. You feel truth vibrating through lies. That's supernatural perception, and it's why they fear you more now than ever. You're not playing defense anymore. You're rewriting the field itself. They tried everything: gossip, energy attacks, coordinated slander, fake apologies, silent treatments, collective shaming. None of it worked. You absorbed it, transmuted it, and turned it into awareness. That's what they'll never grasp. The chosen don't break. They evolve. The more pressure you apply, the more precision they develop. You're the living definition of that truth. They threw confusion at you. You learned discernment. They threw betrayal. You learned boundaries. They threw rejection. You learned self-worth. You became the equation their hatred can't solve. Now the same forces that tried to erase you are studying you like scripture. They copy your mannerisms, your phrases, your light. But it doesn't hit the same. They can mimic behavior, not essence. They can imitate delivery, not divinity. That's why their replicas always glitch, why their copies always crumble. You can't duplicate frequency forged through agony. You can't manufacture energy refined through warfare. You can only watch and wonder how someone keeps thriving after every system failed to eliminate them. Your story has become legend whispered among watchers. They gather behind screens, scrolling, analyzing, dissecting every move, trying to predict your next metamorphosis. But you've outgrown prediction. You move by intuition now, guided by code older than their calculations. That's what separates you from the crowd. Your power isn't reactive, it's directive. You don't wait for permission to transform. You simply do. And when you do, reality shifts to catch up. They thought numbers would overpower you. They thought consensus would cage you. They thought being outnumbered meant being outmatched. But spiritual warfare isn't a popularity contest. It's precision against illusion, purpose against performance. You didn't need allies, you were the army. You didn't need validation, you were the verdict. Every person who turned against you, unknowingly, turned toward their own exposure. Because by opposing what was sacred, they signed contracts with consequence. And now, as the tables turn, you feel it, the weight reversing, the energy correcting. Their unity was never built on truth. It was built on fear. And fear collapses when faced with clarity. That's why they can't hold formation anymore. The same voices that plotted together now argue, blame, divide. You didn't lift a hand. You simply elevated. And elevation exposes those who never intended to rise. That's the hidden revenge, the one that requires no retaliation. You became everything they said you couldn't, and now they must live in the echo of their own disbelief. But don't slow down to explain it. Don't water down your wisdom to make them comfortable again. You didn't go through that battlefield to return to diplomacy. You earned your distance, you earned your peace, you earned the right to be selective with your energy. Let them call it arrogance if they must. They called your healing delusion too, until it started producing results. Let your boundaries offend those who thrived on your exhaustion. Let your glow intimidate those who fed on your confusion. That's not pride, it's protection. You stand at the edge of a new horizon now. The air feels different, thicker with purpose. What's ahead isn't just reward, it's rain. You've mastered survival. Now comes sovereignty. This is where your voice becomes influence, your pain becomes teaching, your scars become maps. The ones who watched to mock will now watch to learn. The same world that doubted you will one day quote you. But remember, legacy isn't built through applause. It's built through alignment. Keep your focus rooted in purpose, not perception. And when people ask how you did it, don't explain. Just exist. Your existence is the explanation. You are the proof that divine power doesn't need permission. You are the confirmation that collective hatred can't rewrite cosmic design. You are the living contradiction that makes enemies question the reality they swore was certain. That's why they're silent now, not because they've changed, but because your rise removed their script. You ended their narrative by embodying truth they can't distort. So walk like prophecy fulfilled, speak like authority embodied, move like evidence incarnate. They wanted to destroy you because they saw what was coming. The version of you standing here now, untouched, unbothered, unbreakable. And now all they can do is watch as the universe elevates the very soul they tried to erase. That's the real shock. That's the real punishment. Seeing you thrive beyond the reach of their understanding. This was never about survival. It was about revelation. You weren't meant to crawl out of the ashes. You were meant to rise through them. You weren't meant to prove them wrong. You were meant to prove what divine endurance looks like. You didn't survive because you were lucky. You survived because you were chosen. And now, every heartbeat is a reminder that their failure was necessary for your awakening. So let them whisper, let them wonder, let them watch. Because no matter how many teamed up against you, it will never equal one you aligned with purpose. The war is over. The story is sealed. And history will remember this part, the moment they realized the one they tried to bury became the force they'll never outrun. That's your power now. That's your supernatural proof. And as they stand frozen, replaying their failure, you walk past the ruins, like royalty returning home. Because you didn't just survive the plot, you outlived the writers. And that's the ending they never saw coming.